Hello, all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people. I certainly hope wherever you are in the world, you are having a beautiful morning, evening, night, and all of that. Today, I'm going to do the three teas that are for 10% off now for the next little while. They're still 10% off for the next little while, along with the Snow Mist GABA. And what I've done, I'm hoping it doesn't happen this time. But what I've done is I've actually gone and I have I froze a bottle of water, and the bottle of water is behind the cell phone. And I'm hoping that bottle of water will make it so that uh, we don't have to worry about um, the we don't have to worry about the phone overheating. That's what I'm hoping. What have you? Yes. Well, this is Hualien, right? This is I can talk a little bit about Hualien. This is where I live, you know, and right now we are in basically the equivalent of a depression here in Hualien, and that's not really an exaggeration. That's actually the truth. And the reason that we're in sort of like a depression is because this is a tourist town, and we've had so many earthquakes and typhoons and things that now the road getting here is really, really, really tough to get here. And so it's you know it's this beautiful, beautiful view, but there's not too many people here to enjoy it because it's so hard to get here right now. But it is, and if you are somebody like me who is not in the tourism industry, then it's okay and it's nice to be here. But it is a little hot. Yesterday, I finally went and I got my bees back. So I don't know if you can see it here. I got stung last night when I was getting the bees, and my wonderful boys, they laughed at me and they called it baby fingers. So now I have baby fingers. But anyways, you can see it's a little bit more swollen on this hand because I got my bees. But when I was getting the bees, the guy was saying, uh, how was that? How did you enjoy that? Things like that. And he said, Canada's great and blah blah blah. Well, yes and no, right? I mean, the wintertime is brutal. And here, the summertime is brutal. And so right now we're in the heart of the summertime, and it's hot. It's really, 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 really hot. But, and this is the good part about it, it only lasts for a couple months. There's also all sorts of different things that we can do. And the rest of the year is like 25 degrees and sunny. So it gets to 35 degrees for a couple months. 25 degrees and sunny for like 8 months of the year. I'll take it. There's 2 months where it goes down to around 20. But so you're in Florida, then you know what I'm talking about. So I think Taiwan is close to Florida. I think the Keys is where Taiwan hits, sort of in the global thing. And it gets hot. Well, hey, T Burners, how's it going? I hope you're doing absolutely wonderfully well. And today, what are the teas we covered? Well, there is a wonderful person who asked me to do a live stream talking about the teas that were on sale at the moment. There's 4 teas on sale at the moment. There's the Snow Mist GABA. There is the Jade Mountain GABA, the 3 Shades of Bashian, and the Snow Pick Charcoal Roast. So those 4 teas are 10% off. The code is, hey man, how's it going? The code is AUG. And if you throw that in your thing, you get 10% off. So that's just there. I should probably, and it's there. I extended it an extra day or two. So if you're doing this in the next, so I guess before Friday, North American time, then you're good. You can get 10% off these teas. And so she very, very nicely asked me to do a live stream of these teas I think on Saturday. I'm just getting to it now. It's been busy. It's been busy. Like, remember, I was on the other side of the world. I'm only now starting to get back into it. Only now. And I'm finally there. I'm finally there. So more live streams and things like that. But I haven't even started drinking yet. But it is a small price to pay. You know, it's one of those things where, would you rather be too cold or too hot? Too hot. Absolutely. Every time for me, that's my choice. And so we'll talk about these teas. We'll drink through them, and we'll talk about these teas a little bit. And I can go and finish some of the stories that I told last time before I got rudely cut off by the hot weather. You can see here what I've got behind is this frozen bottle of water. So I'm hoping that there's enough frozen bottle of waterness in here that it'll it'll save us from overheating. That's what I'm hoping. We'll see how it goes. But this time of the year, there is no tea. There is no tea. There is some really bad tea. There's like tea that low elevation, middle of the summertime, really like tea bag type of tea, the type of tea they cut this much of the tea tree off and then they put it into powder. I mean, it's not tea that most people would like. And so, you know, I like to every couple of weeks release some new teas. So what these teas are the teas that I got in the springtime, but they weren't quite ready yet. They needed some time to sit on a shelf. And when they're sitting on a shelf at a farmer's place, usually that's not the best shelf to sit. Now, it's the best shelf to sit for 20 years. It is not the best shelf to sit for 6 months. My shelves here in this extremely hot and extremely humid lower elevation place are the best place for teas to sit on a shelf for about 6 months, because they get going. The teas that I want to get going or change, I will open up the original packaging and I will put them in a big sort of I want to say Nylar. That's not the right word. Mylar bag, and I'll press them out, but I won't make them airtight. I'll admit they'll be airtight, but it won't be vacuum sealed. And then I'll sit them on a shelf and I'll let them develop. And after 6 months, sometimes less, 3 months, something like that, in this area, they just change and they're ready to go. And these are the teas that I bought in the springtime to specifically release basically in August, in the summertime sometime. And why is that? So first one, the Snow Peak charcoal roast, that's really easy to understand, right? Because that's like it's charcoal. And when you charcoal roast a tea, you do not want to be having that tea right away. You want to be waiting, right? You want to be waiting for that tea to come into its own. And that's the same charcoal roast. There's no special thing there. That's just the way it always is with the charcoal roasts. Now, this one, the reason I got it was because it wasn't too expensive, and I know that fall is coming. And this guy right here it's one of those teas that I really enjoy in sort of the early fall, because the upfront is charcoal roast. Like you taste it and you're like, okay, that's charcoal roast. Okay. But then you can count it down about maybe, 10 seconds, something like that. You can count it down. There's a really sort of clear, silky, smooth mid-mouth. And then there is this complex aftertaste that pops out that for me, it's like, sitting on the porch or sitting somewhere in the park, and, the leaves are out there and you get that charcoal, warms you up a little bit. It's a warming tea, as you'll probably be able to see in a minute. and so, and then it sort of sits there, and then this complex, beautiful fruit caramel. Like the way I described it was halfway between a high mountain oolong and a dong ding. And that complex aftertaste sort of comes out, and you just, you sort of sit there, slight breeze sort of a thing going on. That's what this tea is about. And that's why you can't have it too fast, because if you have it when it's freshly roasted, when it's freshly made, it just doesn't work. Now, this one right here is actually a Snow Peak. which means that the vegetal in it, in the upfront, the charcoal roast, the vegetal is a little bit stronger. But it also means that in the back end, usually it's more fruit flavors, but now in the back end, you actually get like a touch of a high mountain oolong because it didn't roast out all of it, which is really kind of fun, right? You get this. That's why I got it, because it's so unique. All right, so you do get, again, Dong Ding oolong and high mountain oolong mixed together in the aftertaste. And if you are a fan of those extra long aftertasty type of teas, this one's so fun. It's so contemplative, I guess you could say. But it's not a beginner tea. It's not a beginner tea. So if you want to, like, you got some new tea friends and you're like, here, you try this tea, watch the aftertaste. It'll be so, they'll taste it. The upfront taste is, it's kind of roasty. And so they won't really have a very fun time with the upfront taste. And, but if you've had death roast or really nasty roasted teas, you'll be like, oh, this is a decent roast. And then you wait for the aftertaste and you'll really, really, really enjoy it. Anyways, that's this one. The next one is, of course, the 2024 version of the Three Shades of Ba Xian. This tea I got in, I guess, May. I guess I got it in May. And it's probably one of the most unique teas that is on the site, because it tastes like guava. It literally tastes like guava juice. It's really quite amazing. And it's really, really, really unique. And it's also kind of expensive, but it's fun. The reason I get it is because it's got all of these. I'll show you one of the leaves here. It's somewhere in between an oolong, a white tea, a green tea. It's got all of these different aspects to it. And you can see it's picked by hand. It's just picked at the top. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tea. Just taken good care of. But if you can see sort of what's going on with the leaf there, yeah, you can see. Look at all the different colors. It's obviously an oolong, right? That's obviously an oolong. But there's so much going on, right? It's got all sorts of different things going on. Now, last year was much, much closer to a white tea. Like it was lower oxidized. This year, it's closer to an oolong. So it's got more sort of the oolongness to it. But everything from the color of the liqueur to the shape of the leaves to the taste is like Chinese cultivar, right? It's Chinese cultivar, and Chinese cultivar is pretty rare in. Oh, I do enjoy this tea. It's pretty rare in Taiwan, and it's creamy. It's got that, like I said, the guava note to it. If you brew it for a really long time, it gets a little bit bitter and astringent because it's got that Chinese cultivar sort of characteristic in it. Oh, here's one. What time is it? 11:06. He's a little late for his lunch break. Anyways, there's two of them. So they're going to go around. So I apologize. There's going to be some jets in the background for the next 10 minutes or so. Now, why was this one left? Well, this one, like I just mentioned, if you brew this thing too strong, you're going to get a little bit of bitterness and astringency in the back end. And when it's fresh, way more bitterness and astringency. You're just going to get, it's like you got to treat it with a really, really light hand. But if you throw it on the shelf here in super hot 35 degree plus, like 100% humidity Hualien, then after a couple months, that bitterness and astringency goes away without really leaving the. It doesn't take away. It doesn't take away. It calms it down. It softens it down, and it doesn't really take away from the real deep, flavor characteristics of this tea. It's okay. I had this Ba Xian last year, and it was great. Maybe I'll try this one. Well, this year is last year was like Three Shades. It was really, really, really beautiful last year. This year it's not quite as wow as last year, but like I said, the guava note is so rare. if you really liked it last year, probably don't get too much of it. Get a sample and see if you enjoy it. You'll recognize it for sure. But last year had all that stuff going on, and this year it still does, but a little bit more muted. Now, if you've never had the tea before, it's definitely worth a try. But if you had it last year, it's going to be a little bit different. So, maybe get 25 grams or something like that. Will there be any Alishan Jinchuan Firefly this year? Absolutely. It's on the site right now. It should be there. This year's wintertime pick was amazing. The springtime pick they don't do anymore. They use that to make into GABA, which I also buy. So the springtime tea, the springtime Firefly, they make it into a GABA. The beautiful Jinchuan GABA. And speaking of GABAs, that's what we're going to go to next. And their 2024 pick should be just about ready to go. The Alishan GABA. So that's my this week. I'm going to phone them up and get some in. I'm really looking forward to getting in some of that GABA as well, because I haven't had that for a while. And but the wintertime version of the Firefly should be on the site right now. If it's not, then let me know. How do you like to store your teas in? Oh, come on. I thought I turned that off. Does it do the fireworks? Okay, I turned it off on the YouTube still doing fireworks. I apologize for that. I turned it off on the phone. How do you like to store your teas in a humid climate? The answer, of course, is it depends. Every single one of the greenish oolongs, every single one is vacuum sealed with a humidity pack and stuck in the fridge in the summertime. Every single one. So I have I've got this fridge. It's filled up, and I'm working on it. Or you guys are working on it, I should say. You guys are working on getting a lot of this stuff out and being sold. So thank you for that. But the greenish oolongs, you do not want to have them in the 35-degree heat. It ruins them. It absolutely ruins them. So I put those in the fridge. Everything else, and I mean everything else, well, except for the green teas. But remember what I do with the green teas? I buy them in the springtime and try and sell them out by now. Right now, I have no green tea, right? No green tea at all. I do not sell green tea in the summertime just because I only sell the fresh stuff. So it's all gone. And so I'll buy some more in late September. So the green tea will be back. So the greenish oolongs are in the fridge, and everything else is just sort of sitting on a shelf. It works perfectly. The black teas, the white teas, the roasted teas, everything is just awesome. It's just amazing. It's so, so, so good. Because usually, I'm not aging teas for too long here. I'm usually sort of aging some teas, of course. But what's going on with those teas is I am, after like six months or so, they're like aged for 5 years if they're up on the mountain. So that's what I do. So there's the answer to that question. So that's how I deal with the teas, but always airtight, right? Always airtight. But there's a difference between airtight and vacuum sealed, right? So roasted teas, oftentimes I'll open them up, stick them in a big Mylar, one of those silver bags, and just sort of empty them all in there, get a big one, and then just sort of do up the top. But I won't vacuum seal it. Hopefully that answers that question. Anybody else have any other questions about that? Please throw them in the chat. Hey man, how's it going? I hope you're doing absolutely wonderfully well and probably enjoying weather that's not quite as hot as it is here. So let's go to the last tea. So again, all these teas, I'll keep it till Friday, but all these teas, 10% off with the code AUG, the first 3 letters of the month that we are in at the moment. And why did I leave this one? Well, because this one is from Jade Mountain. This is a Jade Mountain GABA. This is the Chin cultivar. So I've got 3 GABAs on the site right now that are 3 different. Oh, no, I don't. I got to get that Alishan GABA. Anyways. So this is this is Chin. And then there is the dark flower GABA, which is the 4 seasons. And then there is the Jinchuan GABA, which is the one that I'll get on the site, hopefully in a week or 2. And those 3 teas, they're all basically very, very, very similar. There's elevation differences, of course, but they're different cultivars, which brings in a completely different taste. And this guy, out of all three of them is the strongest one. And this one, like, you just look at the liqueur and you look at the leaves and you look at everything, it's just strong. And your mouth just sort of GABA, right? GABA. Alishan GABA is number one. I agree with that. And I'm waiting for their 2024 to come into its own, but I'm going to get in touch with them this week. And it's actually, at this point, there's even just a touch of cinnamon in the background too. Anyways, with GABAs, you're looking at sort of a one-trick pony. It is the flavor of GABA, but this one is Chin processing, Chin. And so you've got in the background just a touch of floral, right? It's kind of fun, just a touch of floral, sort of the high mountain floral. Is this the new one? Yes, yeah, this is the new one here. And so you get this touch of floral because it's the Chin, right? Whereas with the Alishan GABA, that's the Jinshan, that's the milk oolong cultivar. So you're just getting butter, like that really thick flavor to it. And it is strong. Now, it wasn't made enough to actually test how much GABA was in it. So there's a way you can test it. So GABA per 100 milligrams of the tea, I forget how, or 100 grams of the tea, how many milligrams of GABA, blah, blah, blah. I don't know all the details. Anyways, 100 to 200 is sort of lower than 200. 300 is higher. Anything above 300 is like a lot of GABA. This has probably got 300 or so. Are the different GABA cultivars made by different producers? Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. The dark flowers from Mingjian. This one is from Jade Mountain, and the other one's from Alishan. So 3 different areas. Everything about them is basically completely different. So here's another jet coming in. And he's doing the loop. So there's 2 of them. Again, nothing special, totally normal. This is what happens. If you've ever watched one of these live streams in the morning, you probably have seen the jets fly by. So nothing to worry about. Now, why did I leave this one back? Because it was too strong. So I got this one in the spring. And I was like, wow, that's a big GABA. And then when you brewed it too hard, it would be too much. It would be too much. And so I left it back. Same with the with the Snow Mist GABA. The Snow Mist GABA was different. I always leave that one back because there is sort of almost like a sourness that can come into GABAs when they're too fresh. And the longer you leave them, the better they are. And that one, it's such a beautiful tea. I mean, it's not even really, it's got a lower end of the GABA amount, but it's just such a beautiful tea. All the teas from up there. Anyways, those 4 teas, AUG is the code. This is the new one. And any other questions about any of the stuff that I've covered so far in the live stream? Now, because Mr. No is here, I'll finish the story. So Mr. No is going to go to Stratford in Southern Ontario, where I actually have family. My family, my mother grew up in a small town called Melbourne. So Melbourne. And that's not far from Stratford. And so basically the end of the story was my cousin went to a school that was closely tied to all the Shakespeare in Stratford. And as he grew up, he kept doing these amazing, like he was Hamlet one year, and these kids, like in grade school, were doing Shakespearean plays, which was amazing, which was really, really, really amazing. And it followed him all the way through his life. And so the Stratford area has the artsy-fartsy folks and the blue-collar folks, and they found a real interesting way to sort of meld and get together in the schools for the kids. And so the town itself is a really interesting town. I mean, I haven't been there for a very long time. But if you're going there, maybe you can go out and walk around and see some of the stuff. Another story, maybe I'll tell that story some other time. But that's not to do. It's more to do with my cousin than it is to do with Stratford. But anyways, thank you for sharing. No problem. Can I make 2 separate purchases and send a gift to another address? Of course. Yeah, of course. So when you go into the Shopify, there's the billing address and then there's the shipping address. And if you just put a different shipping address, then you're good to go. So you can send it wherever you need to go. If you want me to, I do this all the time. If it's a gift, if you want me to put something in it, like a little note from you or something like that, or not include how much it cost, or, whatever it is, just let me know. And that's really, really easy to do. I do that all the time. I've done that for sort of weddings and birthdays and all sorts of different types of gifts. So if you want me to do that, no problem. Then just when you make the order, just let me know, and I can print out a little message from you and ship it in with the box as well. Okay, I think that's about it. I think we made it. I think my little frozen thing of water worked, and so we didn't. I think last time too was in the afternoon, which you don't want to be outside in the afternoon for a long time. Anyways, it lasted this time, so we didn't lose the stream. We didn't lose the stream because of the heat, but it's getting to be fall. It's getting to be fall. Fall's coming. So from now on, there'll be more live streams. I got to go up to various places, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to do live streams in various places. I haven't really gotten my deep plan for this year or this fall and this winter time yet, but I will for sure. And yeah, all the best to you as well. I love Stratford. The blue collar artsy connection makes for great restaurants. I bet. Yeah, there'd be some really, really good restaurants. I've heard that in Stratford. And yeah, it's a very strange life I've lived. Very strange life I've lived. Here I am drinking tea in front of a phone and a computer, talking with amazingly nice people. My hand is baby fingered up because I got stung by my bees. They're on the other balcony. I'm going to move one of them over here eventually. And yeah, I got to go to the post office. But anyways, thank you everybody for watching. I certainly hope wherever in the world you are, you have an amazing morning, night, evening, and all of that. Any other questions about any of this stuff, just let me know. Throw me a message or anything. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next live stream. Wait, here, we'll do this. Oh, it didn't work. It didn't work.